Hello and welcome back to my Eruption of Shame today for the month of June 2022. And I've got to say, at least based on my initial impressions, this could be the worst month for me yet. To the point where I'm sort of just like, oh god, do I really want to be getting this? But on the other hand, I use the discount quite a lot. Oh well. Let's have a look together and see what you think. Maybe you'll find something you'll like here. Not to say these games are entirely without merit, but I own a lot of them, and yeah. Let's just look through, shall we? So we'll see. So the first one is actually quite a good one if you've got VR. And apparently if you don't care, it's on Origin, which is a bit of a shame. Also, must redeem by January 5th, 2023. That's terrible. I'm sorry. Don't like that at all. So not only are you saying it has to be on Origin, but then you're saying it has to be redeemed by a certain date. That is literally... Oh, no, I never like it when they do that. So that's not a good thing to start with. But it should be said, the game Star Wars Squadrons is actually really quite good. I played through the first few levels of this, and I honestly need to go back and play more in VR, and it is pretty phenomenal. However, I'm not sure how it would be like without VR, to be honest. So basically, yeah, this is the headline game, and it's kind of, it's good, but it's limited. It's really, really limited in that regards. Like the fact that we have to get an Origin, the fact that it needs to be redeemed by January 5th of next year. I've still got games I haven't claimed from months ago. So, okay, let's see what else we've got. Phoenix Point. Oh boy, where do I begin with this one? So, Phoenix Point is an XCOM style game made by the same people who made XCOM, apparently. Now, you'd think if this is basically just XCOM 2 but with aliens, it'd be great, right? Fantastic. But when I tried it, it didn't really mesh with me very well at all. I did try playing it. I actually bought it on Epic, which is crazy because I bought something on Epic, even though it was against my better judgment. The game itself was okay, but it's a little bit clunky at the time. I'm hoping it's gone better since then, but looking at the reviews of the DLC, it seems like most of the DLC are a little bit troublesome in what they do. They're mostly mixed or negative reviews. So this is another game where I'm like, okay, I'm happy enough to have it in my Steam library instead of my Epic library, but you know, it's definitely not one I saw coming. Be interested to see what people thought from terms of it'd be interesting to see what people thought in terms of the prediction for this month. So next one, Call of the Sea. We might actually watch the trailer of this one. I haven't played this one yet, but I do have it. And I know I went on my way to get it. So this isn't necessarily a bad one, but let's have a look what it looks like.
Dear Nora, I am writing these lines to you, even though I know you may never read them. My research led me to this island in the heart of the Pacific. But here, I only found more puzzling enigmas. Even so, I'm convinced that I'll find an answer for your illness in this place. I swear I'll be back home soon, my love.
But you never returned. What happened, Harry? Your letters led me to this idyllic, nameless island in the middle of nowhere. What did you find? Its shores speak to me in the whispers that carry on the reefs at night. I wonder if this alluring place riddled with mechanisms and contraptions is the same island that haunted me in my dreams. Or perhaps they were never dreams to begin with. Harry, my love, I swear I will find you.
Now, once again, that game still looks pretty damn good, but it's one of the cheaper games in the bundle this time around. And like, I've got a friend who wants it, so I'll probably give it to them. But I know puzzle games are not everyone's cup of tea. Indie adventure games, especially. Well, not especially. There's a bunch of like adventure games, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like a very strong addition, but at least it's probably the first one which it's remarkably positive. It doesn't have any restrictions on it, so this isn't a bad pickup. But now, as for Gamedec, Gamedec's an interesting one. Now, I have played through all of Gamedec, and I had quite a good time of it. I also think I did a video on Gamedec at some point, because I think I picked it up on my Mountain of Shame at some point. I did go through and play the rest of it, and it was... Actually, did I go through and play the rest of it? Oh, now I'm doubting myself. I don't remember. I don't know if I did go through and play the rest of it. But even I think I did. Yeah, it's not that long of a game is the point. I backed this game on Kickstarter, so I'm obviously always happy to see it. It's a great concept where you go inside all these video games, do detective work, etc., etc. It's a beautiful game. It's got some really interesting storylines, really interesting everything. It's a good game. However, it is what it is. It is quite a short game. It is a very short and sweet game. They went out to do what they want to do, and that's all they did, which is fair, which is fine. That's what you'd expect. So if you're looking for a good game in this bundle, and you're like, okay, well, I could do this one probably will be it. But it won't necessarily be something that spans 100 hours or something. Granted, that's due to the fact it's Kickstarter. Now, if its budget was larger or it got picked up by another developer or publisher along the way, then we probably would have seen a bigger game, but would we have seen as good of a game? I don't know. 81% positive, so it's not that expertly rated on Steam, but still. Now, this is one game I don't have, so this is one of the ones I will be enjoying myself. I don't know what it is, but it appears to be some sort of action-adventure style game. A 3D platformer. Now, as much as I suck at platformers, I actually sometimes do enjoy them quite a bit. So it's this colorful cartoon setting. Fight for your life. Don't you lose your head and find friends to fight at your side. So, it does look beautiful. It actually looks more like a multiplayer game, but it clearly isn't one, which I kind of do respect. It's also fairly expensive, given it's just an indie platformer. But, you know, I think this is probably one of the better pickups for me personally in this bundle. But it does make me wish I could still pause bundles, you know, like without losing the discount, which is exactly what they want, right? Since they made the change, the bundles have gotten worse. At least I feel they have. And it's sort of a bit of a shame. Like, I don't know how long more I can do this. Like, if I get too many months in a row of just not getting my value, what's the point, you know? And I know I own a lot of games, but this wasn't an issue before. Anyway, Siege of Survival looks like it's like a stronghold game, but instead of managing the castle, you're managing a siege. Seems like a limited game without much more to do, but I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe there's more to it. If it's just sieging, though, might be quite limited. That being said, it's unique. It's interesting. I'm happy to have it on my list. Yeah. I know. I'm not sure if it's a full-on survival game. That'd be good, but if it's essentially just siege and besiege, then it's less of an interesting thing. However, I'm happy enough to have this game in the list, so I'm happy to have a few games I don't have already, so that's good. I Am Fish. First of all, fantastic name. Second of all, it looks like it's going to be hard as hell. Why? Because it looks like it's one of those I Am Bread style games where you go around and do physics controlled stuff. I tried to love Iron Bread. I loved Surgeon Simulator. It didn't work out well for me when it came to Iron Bread. So I've always been a little bit skeptical of I Am Fish because I've been like, oh boy, this is going to be hard. Now, if for some reason it's not that bad of a control system, maybe I'll have some fun. It looks like it's a charming, beautiful game. Just don't make yourself too hard. Like, I don't see the point of trying to explore these beautiful landscapes just in the most obnoxious way possible. That being said, some people really like this sort of game. So if that's this may not be a bad thing. Oh, that's adorable. It's sort of giving me very much Finding Nemo vibes, like entirely. Even the goldfish on the cover is looking very much like Finding Nemo. So fair enough. Let's have a look at the trailer for this one too. I reckon. Let's see what this one looks like, shall we? Yeah, it's made by the same people certainly around Iron Bread. Look, here's the thing. I am not sure how I'm going to like this. It is made by the same people as Iron Bread. Depending on what the control sequence is like, if this is another one of their super hard control games, then I just don't see much value in it for me personally. If it was like a goat simulator style thing, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm obviously not going to write this game off before I have it, but it's not what I'm really excited about. And the final one is actually fairly good. Now, I played the original. I played the VR version of this. Basically, actually, have I played the original? I think I may have only played the VR version. But anyway, the idea of Superhot is that you are moving. Whenever you move, the enemy can move. It is a tactical, puzzle-based, pretty good game. It does one thing, and it does one thing pretty well. Now, this is the third game, Mind Control Delete, and apparently it has more storyline, more gameplay, more everything. We'll see. I'm sort of not sure. I don't remember doing that well at this in VR. I thought it was going to be a breeze, but it ended up not being as intuitive in VR as I thought. So I'll be interested to see how this goes. So yeah, anyway, apparently this one doesn't even have a VR mode, which is a bit of a shame. Then again, the other one was a separate VR thing. Overall, though, if I could pause for this month, I probably would. And I realize I probably could, but yeah. I don't want to go all the way down to a 10% store discount for 12 months. Like, and I feel like I'm being almost blackmailed into that fact, you know? So it's a hard one. I do like that it's supporting suicide prevention. That's always a good thing. But other than that, like, Let's go look at the Prime game, shall we? It's slightly different story on Prime, and then also kind of the same story. First of all, the headline game is Far Cry 4. And they go Escape Monkey Island, WRC, Calico, Astralagasta, and Across the Grooves. Let's go look at these games. So the first one is Far Cry 4. Now, Far Cry 4 is Far Cry 3 is Far Cry 5. they're all the same game, basically. Far Cry games are Far Cry games are Far Cry games. You go to a beautiful locale, you fight against some sort of crazy dictator, and then you rinse and repeat until you're finished. It's not a bad experience by any stretch of the imagination. It's definitely beautiful. And some of some of the people in them have actually been quite interesting. It's got full co-op, but you should be warned if you're planning on doing this co-op. For some reason, they made the baffling decision to have the co-op not progress you together. So the only way you can really do the game co-op is if one person finishes the game and gets all the progression, and then they go back and play it with someone else and they finish all the progression. So you don't both get the progression. Only the host gets the progression. And personally, I think that's a really goddamn stupid idea. So if you plan on playing this co-op, just know that with a caveat, you don't necessarily want to. It's probably a better game to play single player. Personally, I did enjoy Far Cry 4. Probably more than Far Cry 5. But that's mostly because I played it on my own. Is this a good pickup for Prime? Almost certainly this is a good pickup for Prime. So if you don't have Far Cry 4, it's still a solid game. Even if it is identical to the rest, it's identical in the way that it's identical, not in the Tropico format where, there's no point playing the old games when you get to new games. It is a good game. It has a semi-good storyline, if a little bit. Yeah, well, it's Ubisoft, so you get what you expect. The next game, however, is not so positive. You might be like, oh, but you've loved every Monkey Island we've had given out so far. Yes, I love every Monkey Island except for the fourth one. By the fourth one, they pretty much lost all the charm that made the Monkey Island, at least in my personal opinion. The 3D version just took out so much from the art style, from the gameplay. It was not fun to use. It was not fun to play. It was not as good as Escape from the previous game or the first two by any stretch. As shown by the fact it's only $9.95, has mixed reviews despite being on Steam as a re-release. So the only people who buy this game would be people who actually want this game. So yeah. It's just not good. It's not good at all. I'm not saying you shouldn't claim it, because obviously you should claim all free games, but yeah. Now, this next one, okay, it's a rally car game. I personally sometimes like racing games, but I prefer like underground racing in a town. I'm not sure how I'm going to enjoy this. I know that I've played a couple of racing games on my Mountain of Shame, a couple which I haven't even recorded. Yeah. I guess it's a game, but we'll see if it's any good. These racing games are often way too arcadey or way too realistic, and there's never in the middle. There's never like proper purchasing upgrade systems. It's just not my thing usually. Now, Calico looks adorable. You run it's a life sim. You rebuild a cat cafe. It looks lighthearted. It looks beautiful. It's probably one of the better games in EVA bundle this month. So that's an interesting thing. In fact, combined with the next two games, I would actually argue that probably this month, Amazon, which granted doesn't cost you anything above your Amazon subscription, Amazon is probably the better of the two bundles this month, and it has had a pretty good showing. And this is a weaker month for them, but this is still the strongest showing, which is something. So now, this game here, I have no idea what it is, but it says it's a comedy game set in Shakespearean London. Players Dr. Simon Foreman and treats patients using astrology, story-driven adventure based on a truly ridiculous storyline. So, let's go see if there's a trailer for this one, which actually makes this make more sense.
Say in your defense.
There is. Okay, cool.
Well, in 1592, I saved the lives of countless Londoners, curing them of the plague using the very latest innovations in medical astrology. Since then,
Yeah.
patients have come to me seeking treatment for their medical problems. To advise them, I find answers in the stars. I have many patients from all walks of life, and I think you will find, sir, that they are most satisfied with the quality of medical care I provide. It is only a matter of time before I gain my medical license. For I am not a quack, sir. I am a true doctor.
Silence! Constable, shackle this man and take him from hence to jail.
Please do.
Pray afford me the chance to... Unhand me, you rogue!
Okay, short but sweet trailer, but it gets the point across, I suppose. You're playing a fake doctor who diagnoses illnesses using the stars. Oh god, that's not going to end well. The fact that he goes to jail is probably a good thing. The game itself, though, I think it actually looks pretty good. I'd actually look forward to playing this game. So, yeah, that's not a bad one, I suppose. Decent pickup. So, yeah, and finally, Across the Grooves. Another game I haven't really heard of before, which is interesting. So I'm just going to press play on this SWAT trailer too and see what this one looks like as well.
I focus on the atom heart, the nucleus of what we were,
Okay, so there's some time travel and some travel. Personally, I always like time travel games.
evening sun, Sunday afternoon,
That one just looked like Abby from NCIS.
on the couch, me at the piano, I look at you, I smile, when you smile back, the flow of time stabilizes into this then, and this then is now. Time collapses, fragments of the past.
To me personally, that fight by far looks like the best game that's coming out. Looks like the best game that's coming out. In this, like for me, in this bundle, like that game looks fascinating. Whether it is or not, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, a pretty weak Humble Bundle showing and a pretty weak Amazon showing. I think Amazon has it slightly ahead for me personally, which is funny. I'd say Gamedec isn't bad. Call of the Sea isn't bad. Superhot, not bad. But Phoenix Point, it's a little bit difficult for that sort of a game style, even for XCOM style games. Squadrons, as I said, very limited appeal if you don't like VR. Siege Survival just seems very much a, yeah, I don't know, like, it's not a great month for me. What do you guys think? Put your opinions in the description down below. Tell me, are you going to be skipping this month? Or are you, like me, going to do what he's got to do because he doesn't want to lose his 20% discount yet? How about the Amazon games? A little bit more positive? Maybe you're not a big fan of cute cats and quackery. Maybe you've already played through all of Far Cry 100 times over. Well, I mean, yeah, fair. Oh, well, look. If you like it, tell me. If you hate it, tell me. And I'll see you next month for another eruption of shame. So that should be fun. Also, remember to keep checking the Epic Games, as there's been a bunch more free games given out the last little while for their sale. I believe there'll be another one out tomorrow. What was the current one? What was the current one? So the current free Epic game, when it loads on my thing, I should have thought about this before. Yeah, man. There we go. The current free Epic game is Wolfenstein: A New Order, which is a phenomenal game, and the next game is coming out in just under a day. So yes, make sure you check out that too. It's another mystery game, which generally implies it's AAA or something actually good. Also, Good Old Games has its sales going on at the moment, and Good Old Games has also released 2 free games, Warhammer game and another game just recently, which was a bit older, which makes sense. It's Good Old Games. Oh boy. So yeah, thank you for joining me. This has been my eruption of shame for June of 2022, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.